Hey everyone, Jessica Morrison with Ferris Property Group in Indianapolis, Indiana, back for another Indy Home interview series where this time we talk with Davis Homes with Tana and Francis. They've got a new community and it's a rare find for the area. So welcome, ladies. Tana, what are we talking about today?
Thank you, Jessica. Well, my name is Tana Smith. I'm here with Davis Homes. I've worked with Davis around 2 years now. I specialize in both the community and on your lot. And it's a fun atmosphere. Today we're going to kind of go through the Spring Hill community and what it has to offer and how we can help you.
My name is Francis Williams, and I've been with the company, I think going on 6 years now. And so I am our Director of Realtor Relations as well as our Internet Sales Manager. So all the leads that come in, I kind of talk to all of those people first and scrub those and then get those to our salespeople. So what I can help out with today is talking a little bit about Davis and also our On Your Lot program, as well as any questions about how that process works.
Well, it sounds like you guys do a lot. So as far as the community goes, where is it located? How is it different than others? I mean, if I'm relocating to the Indianapolis area, why should I consider, we'll get to this question in a minute, but why should I consider Davis? But what makes this particular community special?
Yeah, of course. So we were thrilled when we had this opportunity. We are the exclusive builder in Spring Hill at Tipton Lakes, which, if you've driven there, it's a vibrant community located right off of I-65, Columbus exit. It's a great location, just being 40 miles south of downtown Indianapolis and just about 70 miles north of Louisville. So kind of right in between. There are currently around 30 home sites opportunities available. Columbus is, rich in architecture. They have tours. The Columbus area, hosts events. The downtown area is full of, fine dining, shopping, boutiques. It's a really close-knit community, and Spring Hill, is located right in the heart of that. So, the community has miles of paved trails. There's amenities located in that Tipton Lakes area. A beautiful lake that, you can go fishing, kayaking, swimming. It's just a great, awesome community, to settle, whether you're, new first-time home buyers, you're looking to, just settle down, or even if you're, looking for retirement as well, you can, it's a great spot. So I'll let Francis talk a little more about it, but it's a great opportunity.
Definitely. I mean, if you are wanting to be near a lake or on a lake, this is definitely the community that I would definitely look at. There's a lot of people that are coming in from Columbus who, don't want to quite be in the city in Indianapolis, and yet it's not far from Indianapolis if they go to events and things like that. Close to Nashville. So everybody likes, going to Nashville and being able to do some hiking and see the small shops and things like that. But the one thing about Davis is that we can take any of our floor plans and we can modify those. And so that's what kind of sets us apart from other builders in the area. So a lot of builders are kind of stuck to their plans and stuck to their designs, but we see our place in as far as being able to design what a customer wants, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and just to kind of bounce off of that, Francis, that's what does set us apart from many builders. We really, this community has been, a special offer for us, especially because people can come in. We work with a lot of come-ins, engineers and so forth, kind of coming into the community, not knowing much about it, but it's not more so of a production neighborhood. It's more of a customizable, starting in that 370 price point. And, we both offer both ranch and 2-story design. So, it's a great spot.
Do you guys offer basements with this community?
So we actually, due to the, topography of the lots, most of our lots require partial or full basements on each individual lot.
That's really valuable because I feel like it's getting harder to find homes that have basements. And then when I've asked sales reps with more larger production style communities, the pushback has been, oh, well, we found people don't really want basements. And I find that intriguing because when you are looking to move up into that next home, typically people want a home theater room, a space away from the kids, something that's a better recreational area than just what a loft is going to offer. And it's nice because those 2-story homes with lofts do meet an economical need in the market. But I think if you're looking from a city planning perspective to retain your consumer base, instead of having people move into your community and then move out because the housing product isn't there, I love that is something that you're offering for this community, because especially even for not exclusive to older generations, but just the product of being able to build a ranch with a basement, it just seems harder and harder to find these days, especially below $500,000, which I mean, that's expensive, but being able to talk about that maybe in a 350 to 400 price point. I'm not sure if that number is attainable for this community, but it just seems like that number to get that type of product is getting harder to find. Do you agree? Do you happen to know maybe where that would land for this community?
Yeah, I'll let Frances kind of bounce off that idea.
So we actually have a few specs that are being built right now that are going to be completed around September, October. We've got a 2-story with a basement and a ranch with basement. We're coming in right around that 518 mark on those. So if a basement is what is preferred, you probably are going to creep up there just a little bit, depending on what options you choose on the inside. Now, those houses have 3rd-car garages and granite countertops and LVP flooring and just lots of options in that regard. So if a basement's important, maybe they don't put the high finishes on the interior right when they're building. They could possibly do that after they close. Of course, basements are hard to really add after you close, so getting the structure of the house is what's most important. So
can you speak into, Frances, maybe how those numbers have changed over time? I know that's a slight tangent, but I think it will help the consumer understand, especially the builder perspective, because just in the last 5 years, I feel like the prices for so many things have skyrocketed. And I know COVID has impacted a lot of that, but I'd love to hear maybe a behind the scenes feedback as to why that is what it is.
Yeah, so I can definitely speak to that. It has been a crazy, actually, couple years, I'd say, and definitely COVID did have a part in our pricing. From contractors, low contractors. So there's not been a lot of people that have been able to work to getting supplies. And quite frankly, we just haven't had the price increases like we probably should have over, let's just say the last 5 years. And so it all hit at once. And so, at the beginning of the year, our contractor base, which most contractors are the same way, our suppliers were, just normally you would buy a house and we could lock that pricing in for 6 months, right? But that's not what was happening. So when you know, we got our lumber packages and things like that. We had 40, 50, 60% price increases and in that lumber. And so, and it wasn't just lumber. Of course, that's what made the news, and that's what, you know, that's what everybody saw. But it was flooring and siding and windows, and it was just everything. Now, what we do predict is that, you know, we don't see prices going down. A lot of people are asking right now with interest rates rising and things slowing down just a little bit. Our price is going to drop, and we just don't see that happening. It'll level off probably for a little while, or you'll see a 1,000 or, you know, price increase of 1,000 a month or something like that. But we're not going to have the big swings like $30,000 price increase here and then take it down 30,000. So a lot of people have been asking, well, I think I'll just wait until it settles down. Prices aren't going to go down. So, so definitely waiting is not the right answer on that part.
Yeah, and in those moments, if you're a consumer watching this and you're arguing with the television or the computer, whatever device that is, we are more than happy to share data with you and just let the data speak for itself. I certainly hear that. There's actually, maybe you guys have heard this, there's been some conspiracies about lumber yards just holding tons of lumber and they're hoarding it so then they can profit off of it. And I don't know why that would be logical. Have you heard any of those conspiracies? Do you have anything to say, I guess, on that subject?
I'm sure that there's all kinds of theories out there, right? I mean, they're just and that's always going to be the case with, you know, I mean, when you go into a recession, which that's what it looks like, you know, there's all kinds of theories out there. But when you look at like how many times over the last, since they've been tracking recessions,
yeah,
prices have only dropped a couple times during a recession. One has been 2008, where it dropped almost 20%. But in other times when there's been recession, pricing has actually gone up.
mm-hmm.
And this is a big difference between 2008 and today. In 2008, you saw a whole bunch of lending, you know, giving money to people probably who could not afford it. And, you know, a lot of zero down programs and a lot of programs where they rolled in debt. You know, you don't see that anymore. You know, people put down 20%. People are putting down a lot of money in order to live in their house. And so we're not going to see that big fluctuate of you know, pricing going down for sure.
I think that there's definitely been first-time home buyer or more accessible loan types come into the marketplace that are considered higher risk loans. And higher risk just means because you as a buyer would not be putting that much down, you're considered more of a risk of defaulting to the bank. But the bank has also taken steps to protect themselves and the borrower. So in situations where you're getting a down payment assistance program, you have to meet certain income qualifications or have to live in the home for so many years before you resell it. There's all sorts of different ways. I think banks, even if you've heard of those programs, that they have tried to not only protect themselves, but also protect the consumer, because no one wants a repeat of what 2008 caused. So I do think that the consumer who thinks that the sky is going to fall, home prices are going to crash, it's a very complex discussion, and we're happy to get you data. But if you're interested in building a new home, particularly with Davis, what does Davis's process look like? Like, let's say that they're looking at this community in Columbus and they're intrigued by lake life living. What does that process look like from starting a conversation, setting up an appointment, to closing on that new home?
Yeah, so really, you know, up front, we, you know, take time to be able to drive through the neighborhood, because the biggest thing is, deciding and determining, which lot best fits their needs. We have lots, that back up to the lake, so water lots. We have wooded tree line lots and more centralized lots located in the neighborhood. So really, just being able to determine, and really decide on which lot most speaks to them. And then, we would set a time to, start working on that preliminary pricing for what it's going to take, to make that build come to life with all of the items, that they would want to include in the home on that lot that they, determine. From there, it takes around 4 months once we've, signed under a contract, to get going on, the plot plan, staking of the lot. They would have their design appointment where they would, pick out all of their interior, exterior colors and selections. And then from there, we would obtain HOA approval, get permits, and get the dig date going. So in between there, they would meet the project manager as well. That would be with them for, the remainder of the build. And right now, from the time we dig, it's around 8 months until closing, that's projected. And then from there, they would have closing.
And what does your current build time look like? Because every builder right now is a little different.
Yeah,
Let's speak maybe where on a product that a customer would fully customize as opposed to maybe a spec house.
Yeah, currently, we're looking around a year projected timeline, around 4 months up front, around 8 months for the build.
And do you guys have any feedback for maybe why there's such a discrepancy between different builders? Because some builders will say, oh, we can do 7 to 9 months, and then others are 11 to 13. And that's not to be critical of Davis, but just for the buyer who's trying to manage their own expectations. What are you seeing maybe as an industry average? And then how are you setting expectations with the consumer to meet that particular closing date with that projected timeline?
I can answer that one. So every builder's different. If it's in a neighborhood, they may have already started the process. We had talked about where we can make changes to our plans and custom changes and things like that. They may have already decided what floor plan is going on what lot, and have already pulled permits for that. So every builder is completely different as far as that upfront process goes. There's a lot of builders right now who are not doing, if you go in, they just have spec homes available. And so you don't get any choice. But you get a house, which is good. But you don't get the luxury of being able to, really truly design the house that you want. So all builders are going to be roughly around that 12 months. It doesn't matter how you slice it or dice it. It's going to be right around there, and that has to do with supplies and labor. So we all deal with the same people. We all deal with the same suppliers, and they have delays. So our latest delays right now are finishes like shower doors. Who would have thought shower doors would, delay? But we can't get shower doors. And so things like that. It's every builder. And it's just how you set expectations, and then the communication that we give to the customer, because we will never be able to guarantee right now. If you would have asked me 20 years ago, I could tell you exactly when you wrote a contract, exactly when you would close on close right when you signed a purchase agreement. We're just in a different environment right now. So it's just about communication and making sure that we give, the latest and greatest updates as we get them.
Yeah, that's very reasonable. And I certainly understand, having had those conversations before with various builders, it's all across the board. That is what it is. So if, let's say someone is looking to build maybe their dream home or their next home and they have a home to sell, does Davis work with contingencies where one of the number one questions I get from prospective sellers is, well, Jess, I'm not opposed to buying in this market and selling. But if I'm going to build a house, how does that work with, me having to sell my house? Like, do I need to go rent something? Can I stay in my home as long as I can until my new home is ready? What is Davis's policy? Obviously, subject to change down the road, but right now at the time of this interview, what is your policy with sell contingencies?
Do you want me to take that one, Tana?
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
So we don't really do any kind of contingencies. So it's been done several different ways. It depends on how much money they have in their home. So if they have a lot of equity into their home, they could do some kind of bridge loan, which a lot of customers take advantage of, so they do not have to move twice. But some people can't financially take on that. Especially right now, I know that there's more houses on the market, coming on the market right now, but still a great seller's market right now. And the house will sell quickly. It's, we talk about, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Yes, you're going to have to move twice. There's some things that are uncomfortable during that process, but looking at the long process, which is you get the house that you want on the lot that you want, you get exactly what you're looking for. That short term, as far as moving into a rental, or short term moving in with parents, or short term, can be a little bit crazy. But overall, at the end of the day, you'll get what you're looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. And again, every builder is going to have a different, unique take on that policy. Some do, some don't, for various reasons. And if you're a prospective seller watching this, one way you can structure, one of my favorite things is an agent I've been in this industry for 8 years now, which is wild, but time goes quick. And one of my favorite things is a lot of people will focus on getting the best price, and it's the terms a lot of times that get you the best deal. And so when we're fielding different offers, your listing agent should be coaching you through the terms that you want. So if you want to stay in your home while your home is being built and not have to move out, you can look for that or negotiate those terms in a prospective buyer's offer. Your limitations will be that if a buyer is purchasing that property to be their owner occupied residence, that you can only have possession in 59 days after closing. And we typically in this market get that for free for sellers. So ideally you would run a structure that prospective deal to close within that 60-day period of when your home would be completed. And obviously if there's a sell contingency to get that under contract, there's a more extensive conversation that we would have as to how to do that. Another option is to work with a cash investor to get maybe a discounted lease or rental period where you can still, again, stay in your home, maybe pay a discounted market rate, and then only move once when your home's completed. So there's a dozen different ways you can structure it. My biggest piece of advice is to not sign any contracts until you know where you're going to go rent to, because a lot of people overestimate the availability of rentals, whether it be apartment homes or rental homes in the market. And I've seen some people get in a very precarious position. Maybe you guys can speak into this as well, where they think, okay, I just sold my house and I'm going to go find something. And then they start panicking on social media because, those prices are way more expensive than they expected. Have you guys had those conversations with clients?
Oh, absolutely. It is something that, somebody will call us and they've literally just sold their house and they've made 15 offers. They haven't gotten anything accepted, and now they're ready to move forward. And, you know, I mean, we take things just a little bit differently as far as we want to make sure that somebody really understands the on your lot process and really understands the process of building, period. It can be emotional. And so we just want to make sure that, you know, that's all explained to somebody. So, you know, building is not a perfect scenario. When you go out and you buy a car, your car is absolutely beautiful on the inside, right? It smells good. Everything's there. It all works. With the building process, though, you get to go in during construction, and there's things that somebody's going to see that they may not really like, or they may see a crack in the wall or a window that's broke, or they may see things like that, and we go in and we fix those things. However, it can be just an emotional process. So just talking through that side of it, they're already high emotion because they can't find an existing house. And then to add on the emotional process of building can be a lot. So that's where, again, communication is kind of key during this process, and making sure that they understand, you know, step by step on what's going on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Tana, do you have any wisdom to speak into that, or things that you do maybe as a sales representative to go above and beyond in your communication for prospective clients?
Yes, definitely. I pride myself on communication. I have weekly updates, calls, texts, emails that I have back and forth with those customers. Just always setting expectations up front, because as Francis, mentioned, in this market during the building process, things can happen or come up. And, just keeping them engaged and being able to really give them the insight of what's going on, because, not everyone does this every day. So when you're in the industry, it's more normal to us, but it's very, very important to keep the clients informed throughout the entire process.
I love it and completely agree. So to be respectful of your time, because it does go quickly when we do this interview, what are a few things you would say real quick as a bullet point list that set Davis apart if someone is prospectively interviewing different communities or builders? And what are a few things that people should be keeping in mind, generally speaking, as a buyer in this market?
Yeah, I would say, what definitely sets us apart, as we kind of went through earlier, is just our level of customizations and what we can do. Many builders, they're great at what they do. You kind of, you get a floor plan to pick from, and that's kind of what you get. With our process, it is more extensive because they get to, customize and pick out, hand select everything that they want their home to include. So, it definitely has its benefits. This community is a special offer as well, price point wise, and having the amenities that are included in that neighborhood are definitely, some things that you never come by, really. So I would definitely, suggest to reach out to one of us, and we would be more than happy to answer,
I think you just cut out. What was the last 10 seconds of that?
Sorry. I would say, just to be able to reach out to us if there's any questions or concerns, or, even in the current market, what we have, to say or what we've seen, any of us would be, more than happy to, work with them and be able to kind of give them the insights.
I would say just the last thing on that is that Davis has been around since the 1960s. And so we've been through the ups and the downs and ins and the outs, and we are still a privately held company, family owned and operated. So when you've got a whole lot of big builders in the process. They in the picture, they stick to their processes, whereas we can fluctuate and we can, you know, do some creative things in order to make sure that that we can, you know, deliver a house to a customer. So when it comes to on your lot, you kind of have to be a little bit flexible, because there's, you know, there's a whole lot of, it's just a different process than going in and walking in and picking out a lot with the builder that owns that whole subdivision. So I would say that kind of sets us apart as well.
Excellent. And one question I don't ask too often is, do you guys have a preferred lender or any type of incentives to work financing wise with your preferred lender? Like some people will give like credits towards appliances or design. Does Davis do anything like that?
You know, in this Viator market right now, we don't offer really any incentives in-house. You know, we do have the preferred lender that we work with. So, you know, we definitely have that established relationship, and, you know, they know our process. We know theirs. So it makes, you know, the transaction a little smoother. And, you know, we also have an in-house for the community. And I can let Francis kind of touch on that, you know, as far as the, you know, offers go and what we can do there.
Yeah, I mean, we started our own mortgage company, Davis Mortgage. It is going through, I would say we're probably at capacity as of right now. So we have a list of preferred builders that we, or preferred lenders that we do work with outside of that.
I think you cut out, Francis. Last 10 seconds.
Am I here now?
Yes.
Am I good now?
Yes.
Okay. So I think you will start to see, you know, some builders offering special incentives and things like that with different mortgage companies. And we'll help guide towards what makes the most sense, because our on your lot's a little bit different than our communities. We do construction perm financing on that side. And so that's just a little bit different than your builder finance where it stays in-house. But we help guide through that process.
Very neat. And that's very standard all across the board. For those watching, you're going to have each builder is going to have their preferred lender. They're all different in what they offer. And, you know, as a realtor representing your best interest, I do think it's really good for you to shop lenders just to ensure that you're getting the best rate, seeing those numbers in that total financial picture. But having also seen clients work with preferred lenders, you do sometimes experience a better appraisal process just because they're, I think, sometimes in better communication or more familiar, like Tana alluded to earlier, with that builder's process. Not always, though. I think it's always good to do your due diligence. So if people want to learn more about how to have lake life living with Davis Homes, where should they go?
Yeah, they can check out our website to review the floor plans. And we have 6 floor plans, as I mentioned, both ranch and 2-story designs that we offer in that community, customizable. And check out our, you know, website. You'll be in contact with Francis, and then she'll send it over to me so I can, you know, reach out to them. I can also be contacted at 317-412-4020, call, text, and also email is tsmith, SMYTHE, @davishomes.com.
Awesome. And if you're watching this video and don't have a realtor, it is, I don't like saying it's free for me to represent you, but my cost of services is included in the base price of those homes. So if you found this video valuable and you'd like to work together, mention me when you connect with these wonderful ladies, so we can work to build you a great house. And thank you so much, ladies, for your time today. I look forward to seeing this community come to life. And if you all have any questions, all of his contact information will be available in the description of this video. Stay tuned for our next series, and comment below if there's other communities that you're interested in or are curious about, so that we can get them on the schedule. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.